Hello and welcome to Countdown Rajasthan. Just a very short time left before the people of this state go out to vote. And it's all for the action that's going to take here in this beautiful building right behind us. Absolutely silent right now. Harsha, is it silent like this all the time? Or in a week from now it's going to be mayhem here? Well, this is of course the Vidhan Sabha.
Yes. It's the new Vidhan Sabha, and we've not had very acrimonious scenes here. So by and large, it's been okay.
You're a journalist, you have to say full of acrimonious
But that's
scenes.
also because Rajasthan gets clear verdicts.
Clear verdicts, yes.
So one side has a big majority.
So is it going to be acrimonious this time or no? Oh, don't. That's the story.
You are supposed to give those answers.
Countdown.
Yes.
So it's pretty silent now, but this time there is a big fight on. The fight is between Vasundhara, the current Chief Minister, and two major leaders of the Congress party, Sachin and Mr. Gehlot. Two really tough contenders. We don't know who's going to become Chief Minister in the end. But remember, last time Vasundhara Raje won with a very comfortable majority. Just look at the foundation that she goes into this election with. Last time the BJP got 163 out of 200 seats. That is amazing. Remember, 100 is the majority mark and she got 163. The Congress 21, that's shockingly low, and other parties 13. But one thing that she will be worried about is this record of the revolving door as far as the Vidhan Sabha is concerned. You walk in as Chief Minister, the door revolves, and 5 years later you walk out. That's what happened for the last many elections. Look at that. 1993 BJP, 1998 BJP out. 2003 BJP back in, 2008 BJP out. 2013 BJP back in, and exactly the reverse with the Congress. A complete revolving door. Will that happen again? Will that pattern be followed or will it break? Remember, Punjab also had revolving doors, but Sukhbir Badal beat that once and came back for a second time. So is it the law of averages or is history going to repeat itself? That you have to decide after listening to Shekhar, Dorab and Harsha. But what does the Congress need, given that huge victory that the BJP had last time? What does the Congress need to win? It needs a massive 8% swing. Now, 8% swing to win is huge. And Dorab, tell me something. Is 8% impossible? Does happen in Indian elections, particularly state elections? What's your reading?
Well, Prannoy, it happened in the previous election to the BJP. The BJP went up from 37.7 to 45. By the way, 45% of the vote in the Vidhan Sabha, which is what the BJP got, is the highest that it's ever got, ever, in Rajasthan.
Wow.
And for the Congress, it was the worst ever performance since 1980. So, the Congress actually across the country had laid down to be walked over. There was
right.
Mr. Modi, the new campaigner.
The beginning of the Modi factor had come in. He
That's
campaigned
right.
a lot here, so they hit their peak at that time.
And Prannoy, there's one more thing I'd like to say. Normally Mrs. Vasundhara Raje and the RSS haven't been on the best of terms. Now with Mr. Modi on the top from 2013, he ensured there was one united team, no dissension, everybody fighting together.
Right.
And that I think made also a difference of some percentages and a lot of seats.
Shekhar, one of the things we looked at our polls that Vasundhara Raje has done. BJP is traditionally much stronger with men and a little bit weak amongst women. She's flipped that because I think women identify with her. The BJP strength here is a little more amongst women than men. Never in any other state do you see BJP stronger amongst women, only here. So that could be the Vasundhara Raje factor.
Yes, it could be, but even your figure of 8% swing, I think that's unusual. That is not usual for Rajasthan. That happened in 2003, where it did look like Mr. Modi was really...
2013.
2013?
Yes.
But it looked like Mr. Modi was really on the upswing.
Right.
And he was going to sweep national elections. So it was anti-incumbency, revolving door, plus the Modi magic, if you might call it.
Right.
So I think if you see those figures in that election and subsequently in 2014, a lot of women voted for Mr. Modi as well. So this is a combined effect.
Right, right. And Harsha, we've been talking to you, you've been doing so much work during these elections. So much has happened, and not only during these elections, over the last 5 years in this state, so much has happened that it is comparing chalk with cheese, 2013 to 2018. So while 8% seems virtually impossible, in so much change, and as Shekhar and Dorab was saying, that the Modi effect, it is possible, 8% is possible. Would you say there's that much anger?
Well, definitely
Could
it's
be.
possible because, you know, when you go, the people here are very smart. They know this is the difference between a 2019 Lok Sabha election. They know it's an assembly election.
Right.
So they're very smart. They know the difference. When we go out interviewing people, they know that the 2019 election is a Modi election.
Right.
While this is a Vasundhara election. So an
Right.
8% swing is possible.
Now I'm going to ask you a tough question. You macho, the macho men of Rajasthan, do they resent having a woman leading here or no?
Well, I think she's quite macho. Vasundhara is quite a macho leader.
She's tough,
and
yeah.
she's tough.
I think she might be too much or something.
For the men, right.
For the
Yeah.
men, yes.
Dorab, Vasundhara a little too macho for you?
You mustn't forget that she may be a woman, but she's a Maharani,
Maharani.
and the Rajasthans are feudals.
Yes.
So it doesn't hurt.
Well, we actually caught up with Vasundhara Raje on one of her campaign speeches. It was a pretty big crowd there. Just listen to what she had. She is strong and she is determined. Here's what she said.
गरीबी हटाने का नाम और निशान नहीं है अगर गरीबी हटाइए तो
Thank you very much for joining us and congratulations on the crowd. I should make clear that this is the end of the meeting. So a lot of them are leaving. It's not like it was more than this. Yeah. But I wanted to ask you one thing which Amit Shah had said at a rally was that you've done work but you've not publicized your work. He says that was a big failing on your part.
I didn't say that.
No, the
He just said
your black
rather simply that you've done so much work, but it hasn't been publicized. And it's true, because we've talked about it many times. The fact is that we have worked doggedly for 5 years, but honestly, there is a failure as far as I'm concerned. I'm not a great PR person.
You don't like doing all that PR stuff, is
Because
it?
there's no time, either you work or you don't. So I hadn't had any time.
But one issue which must worry you about Rajasthan is this revolving door, in, out, in, out. I mean, it's never been any... what's the logic to that?
It's never been like that. 50 years the Congress has had. They've never had in and out.
No, in Rajasthan I'm saying, you know, one party, then they lose.
Yes, so 50 years they've had in Rajasthan.
Earlier on, yeah. Then the last 25 years, yeah.
We've only been around for the last 15 years.
Right.
2003 we came, and we lost government in 2008. But that was not the public's fault.
Okay, I'm going to ask you, you don't have to answer this, but being a woman, Chief Minister, has upset quite a few people in your own party. The leaders have given you a tough time. How have you handled that? You've been tough, have you? Have you had to be
I
tough?
think that the matter of gender doesn't come into this. Why? Because once you've decided to step into this, you haven't come with your eyes closed.
Right.
Once you've stepped into it, there's no point taking refuge behind being a woman. You have to be out there and do what you need to do. So I've done my best, and hopefully I think we've managed to do that.
But you've had to be tough.
Every person
Stood your ground.
who is in a position of power at this level has to stand their ground and be tough.
Right. Like your
So
party
it's not just-
president, you stood your ground and you got your way in the end.
Let's not put the two together. I didn't doing that. You asked me a question, I've given you an answer.
Right.
Let's keep it that way.
Okay, fine. Tell me one thing you're feeling positive about now and one thing that you're genuinely worried about now. There are only a few days left.
Well, I'm very positive because this thing has been done in a very systematic manner. The last 9 months we've been working in a very systematic manner towards this end. Now there are only 10 more days left in which it's this kind of thing that will happen now. Everyone's going to have fun. Everyone's going to talk elections and the matter will be over on the 7th. But So I'm happy about the general sort of mood.
The reaction.
Yeah. But as far as unhappy,
Worry.
I'm not worried or unhappy about anything. We've gone according to program. I believe we should be able to make a good statement.
That's almost a worry, which is a positive you're making. But one regret, say.
I don't have any regrets.
No regrets.
No. Because there's no way I could have done anything differently.
You know, this lynching and cow vigilantes, does that make you personally sad?
You putting words into my
No,
mouth.
does it? I'm asking you, does it?
No, let me tell you something. Lynchings
You know, Nalwar.
are like murder. That is not a good thing. None of it is a good thing. I don't think that we should look at it as a special or separate matter. It's a murder. And if something like that happens, it's a law and order problem. And it has to be judged by how it was taken care of.
Right.
But law and order was taken care of immediately.
But isn't it more than
And
law and
action
order?
was taken. No.
There's a religious aspect to it,
No.
the hatred aspect.
Yeah, but it's a crime.
It's
It's a crime, and I would like to look at it. In fact, it is to be looked at like that, because anyone who commits a crime of that nature needs to be punished, and has been punished.
One last thing, in the by-elections you did badly. What has changed since then?
Hard work, lots of work,
You
and
don't like working hard, none of us do.
I have no choice.
Just
I've
kidding.
done nothing but work hard. There's no choice.
Right. So, in the end, how many seats are you going to get?
That I can't tell. I've just started on my tours. I've only done about today 14 constituencies when I finish. So I've done 12 so far. And 12 is too short a thing to be able to tell you the number of seats.
Right. Well, thank you very much for joining us. You still have to tell me, when you on alone, just before you go to sleep, one thing you worry about.
No, I don't. I pray that everything goes well and that the next day is better than the last.
So you're positive. Thank you so much again. Thanks. Well, there's Vasundhara Raje, confident, determined, but many people say, Harsha, that the BJP has been pretty tough on her and the RSS has been tough on her. So she really had to have a lot of resilience to come back and fight and show this kind of determination. Her own party has been tough.
Yes, she absolutely stood her ground. If you notice, they just can't ride roughshod over her. I mean, she's a strong leader.
Yeah.
So if you notice, I'll just give you a very small example. The BJP in the run-up to this election wanted to change the BJP president. So they removed Ashok who people believe was Vasundhara's man. They wanted to send in Gajendra Singh Shekhawat.
Right.
And she held her ground. And she had reasons for it because of the caste equations. And ultimately, they had to opt for someone else.
And it was a standoff for a long while and she
For
just
4 months.
refused.
For 4
No,
months.
in fact, people close to the BJP High Command had leaked information to journalists covering the BJP that this appointment had been made, and by none else than Amit Shah himself.
And she stood up to Amit Shah and
frankly,
won in the end.
In
Yes.
Delhi's sort of BJP commentariat, nobody believed that she could change this, but she won that round big time.
Dorab, I mean, to have your own party, many of them hoping you lose, and then you have the Congress, and then you have all the problems. Pretty tough election she's going into, right? She must feel a bit alone.
For her? Well, I think she is a somewhat imperious person, so she's used to people following her, and at times when this thing doesn't happen, she has a problem. She is, she is what she is, and I think it's won her some victories. Don't forget that.
Yeah.
Big victories.
Yeah, twice
Perhaps
Chief
the
Minister.
largest in Rajasthan's.
I do remember all
the
of
last
us.
one was largest in Rajasthan's history.
I do remember all of us,
So,
20 editors, sat around after that interview with her and just asked her questions, and she said, I don't need to answer that sort of question. But that's a bit stupid question, they were stupid and she didn't need to answer. So she did the right thing. But there are a couple of things that she will be worried about. A couple of indications that have happened in the last couple of years that will worry Vasundhara Raje. Take a look at what happened in the Panchayat elections and the municipal elections. In 2018, the Congress won the Panchayat and municipal elections. 49% of the seats compared to 44 for the BJP. Just a lead of 5%, not that much, but a worry, a turnaround certainly since the assembly in 2013. A little earlier than that, last year, 2017, in the same Panchayat and municipal elections, Congress won 55% of the seats, the BJP only 41, a lead of 14% for the Congress. So a BJP setback that will worry her. We have found that Panchayat elections are actually good indicators as long as they're held pretty close to a next election. This was held about 10 months and 1 year ago, so they're not that reliable, but they're an indication of declining popularity of the BJP, certainly. The other big worry for her will be what happened in the by-elections. That was a huge story. Again, by-elections are decent predictors. A lot of people say, oh, they're just a protest vote, oh, they're this, they're that. The turnout is high in by-elections. People take them seriously, and look what happened. 2018, that's about 10 months, February, about 9 months ago. Huge swing against the BJP. A 17% swing against the BJP. These were held in February 2018. Now, those two factors, Shekhar, will worry her.
Yes.
17% swing in those by-elections.
Yes, absolutely. And also, it does tell us that in this state, it's a bilateral state, but in this state, big swings are possible.
Yes, yes.
Because this state, again, is not polarized within. These are states, Rajasthan, Madhya Pradesh, Chhattisgarh, which, unlike many others in the heartland, do not have a large enough Muslim vote to
Right.
create that polarization.
Right.
And the caste makeup is very diverse.
Right.
And castes don't quite combine as they might in some of the other states. So that's why floating voters, I think, are a lot more here.
Yeah.
And you can get these swings. And this is a very worrying sign for her.
It is a worrying sign. Dora, the sign on the municipal elections and the Panchayat election where she lost both, but the seats difference not that much. In fact, the votes must have been very, very close. But the by-elections much more worrying, would you say?
I think so, because these were fought fairly fiercely, and when you lose a by-election that badly, it is a sign of the fact that things aren't going too well. Also, don't forget that when there is a party that is not doing too well in public perception, some people start deserting it. There's a ex-DJP of Rajasthan, who was a BJP minister, who's defected. Manvinder defected. These are not signs that are good for the morale of parties.
Right.
Because this happens, last time we saw it in Maharashtra too. All the Congress and NCP guys started vying for, BJP tickets and Shiv Sena tickets. So this is not a good sign.
Right. Harsha, by-elections are generally fairly good indicators, again, if they're held close to a assembly or a Lok Sabha. But here, there were some specific circumstances, right? The candidate
Yes.
was changed, the Rajputs were not happy. What exactly happened?
Well, yes, in the by-elections, for example, in Alwar, where actually there was a lot of polarization on the ground, but it didn't pay off for the BJP. And the candidate, it was a wrong choice of candidates in Alwar and Ajmer. That didn't work for the party.
Why do you say wrong choice?
For example, the candidate from Ajmer, he was the son of Samarlal Jat, greenhorn, he hardly spoke in the election. Then there was some issues that had happened, for example, the Rajput vote. A little bit of anger there, which actually cost the BJP dear in the by-elections. There was the encounter of a gangster, which the Rajput community looked upon as a Robin Hood figure. There was the row over the film Padmavat. So those kind of issues led to a swing in the vote, especially in certain communities, like, for example, the Rajputs. But it was a wake-up call. So after that, when we spoke to the Chief Minister and to BJP people, they realized their cadre needed to be mobilized. So after that, the BJP has actually really focused, after the by-elections, on getting their cadre together, which is their strength.
Right. So actually, as Harsha says, a bit different to psephologists like Dorab and me, there may be good figures and statistics and good indicators, but in reality, there are certain specifics in any by-election that you have to take into account. So that minus 17% may not be replicated everywhere. If it is, of course, the Congress will win 163 seats themselves out of 200. But anyway, we went around and tried to see if there is anger still among the people here. and my God, there is.
पानी की समस्या,
पानी के हैं,
और गंदगी की समस्या,
गंदगी,
कचरा डाला रहता है, साफ सफाई नहीं होती, नाली की सफाई नहीं होती।
तो सरकार बन के अपनी जगह पे बैठेगी और ये सब ऐसी तैसी कराएंगे साहब देने वाले, कोई को कुछ नहीं है, ये दौड़ रहे हैं गले आ रहे हैं, कोई सरपंच बन जाए, कोई मेंबर बन जाए, कुछ भी नहीं है साहब। देखो बड़ी जात है, हम तो बड़ी जात है अहीर, तो अहीर को तो कुछ नहीं है,
आप अहीर है,
अहीर है हम जी, सब ठाड़े हम ये, तो हमको तो कुछ भी नहीं है भाई साहब।
मकान ही नहीं बने, जैसे मकान डाले हमारे सफाई कैसे गई, एक दिन इनकी शक के बन गए और हमारे मकान नहीं है ऐसा पाएंगे। और हमारे गाँव में कौन सी राशन है अपना, अंत्योदय राशन है, सिर्फ गेहूँ मिल रहा है, मैंने कोई पता नहीं मिला।
जीएसटी तो मतलब अच्छा नहीं है एक तरह से,
एक अच्छा नहीं, क्यों?
हमारे लिए तो नहीं अच्छा।
क्यों नहीं, क्यों आपके लिए अच्छा क्यों नहीं है?
अच्छा इसे ये जो कागजी कार्रवाई है ना बैंकों की, जैसे हम लोन भी लेते हैं बैंक के थ्रू, तो वो लोन हम सीधे तरीके से नहीं ले सकते, अब इसमें कागजी कार्रवाई ज़्यादा कर दी, ऑनलाइन सिस्टम ज़्यादा हो गया जीएसटी की वजह से।
मेरी किसान की आवाज़ सुनिए पहले आप, क्योंकि हमने क्या नाम है लहसुन पैदा किया है, हमारा समर्थन मूल्य पर लहसुन की खरीदारी नहीं हुई, हमने लहसुन कटा के हमारे कट्टे सड़े हुए हैं। यहाँ का जो वर्तमान प्रभुलाल जी सैनी साहब कृषि मंत्री रहे हैं और किसानों को वंचित किया है, हमारा डिस्पोजन की तरफ मतदान करवा लिया और यहाँ पे कोई विकास नहीं है किसान के लिए, किसान विरोधी है।
हाँ जी,
पढ़े लिखे लोगों से तो पकौड़े तलवा रही सरकार, पढ़े लिखे लोग पकौड़े तलेंगे तो फिर बेरोजगार दूसरे क्या करेंगे? जब आदमी को पढ़ लिख के इतना पकौड़े तलने तो वो इतना पड़ेगा क्यों, पैसा क्यों बिगाड़ेगा इतना?
जैसे अभी बेरोजगार है, बेरोजगार बहुत बड़ा फील्ड है कि जैसे बीजेपी ने 15 लाख का जो दावा किया था, पर एक्चुअल में 2.5 लाख की नौकरियां दे पाई वो 5 साल में, ये भी बहुत बड़ा फैक्टर होगा उसके लिए, एजुकेशन डिपार्टमेंट के लिए, और भी बहुत सारे सेक्टर, डेवलपमेंट सेक्टर हुआ, कुछ भी हुआ।
अच्छे दिन आए क्या?
अच्छा
आए क्या अच्छे दिन?
बिल्कुल भी नहीं
अच्छे दिन नहीं आए।
बीजेपी के राज में कुछ भी अच्छे दिन नहीं आए। बीजेपी ने कौन इसकी रसोई गैस बढ़ा दी, पेट्रोल के दाम बढ़ा दिए,
गरीब कहाँ से लाएगा?
गरीब कहाँ से लाएगा सर जी?
रेत बंद,
हम अब की बार कांग्रेस सरकार बनाना चाहते हैं।
लेकिन आप सब कांग्रेस लोग हैं।
हम बीजेपी के भी हैं, इसमें कांग्रेस ही आना चाहिए बीजेपी, क्योंकि बीजेपी ने जो काम किया है, कौन सा काम अच्छा किया है? अच्छे दिन कहाँ आए मुझे बताओ, एक भी अच्छा दिन? जो जवान के साथ हुआ वही किसान के साथ हो रहा है, देश बर्बाद हो रहा है, देश आगे कहाँ बढ़ रहा है मुझे बताओ, इकोनॉमी नीचे गई ऊपर आई
नहीं। जीडीपी किस पे बढ़ती है? किसानी पे, इंडियन फार्मर, भारतीय किसान। हरित क्रांति किससे आई थी साहब?
भ्रष्टाचार खत्म नहीं हुआ कभी, उल्टा बढ़ा है। मोदी जी कहते थे कि भ्रष्टाचार खत्म हो जाएगा, काला धन निकल जाएगा, काला धन वो वही है, आज गरीब और गरीब हो गया, अमीर और अमीर हो चुका।
इस बार कांग्रेस का साहब अभी टेम्पो लेके आया था मैं, उस समय 500 रुपये में 8 लीटर डीजल आता था, और अभी जो डीजल की इन्होंने रेट बढ़ाई है वो अभी 500 रुपये के अंदर मेरे 6.40 लीटर 6.5 लीटर डीजल आ रहा, तो करीब 1 लीटर डीजल ये पी गई गवर्नमेंट।
ऊंचे सबने दिखाए मोदी जी ने कि वो कर देंगे, वो कर देंगे, वो कर देंगे, आज तक कोई करा ही नहीं। उनके जो कार्यकर्ता उन्होंने भी नहीं करा, मतलब हर चीज को मजदूर लाइन में बदलाव रखा और आश्वासन दे दिया, कहा हम अच्छा काम करेंगे, सारे धंधों की तो चौपट कर दिया, सारे धंधे।
So there you can see the anger still remains, Shekhar. There is an underlying, you know, I came here maybe about a year ago, and at the airport I just asked somebody waiting for the luggage, who's going to win this election? He said, BJP is out. That was 1 year. And everybody says BJP is out, they're out, but they won't say why. But here some of the voters were clearly very specific about where they failed. But there is anger.
See, voters, we keep on saying this again and again, but we always forget it. We've seen this in Chhattisgarh and Madhya Pradesh, where anti-incumbency is thrice over. But nobody is angry with the Chief Minister because they are calmer, not offensive, friendly personalities who are not seen to be arrogant. One thing voters don't like, besides water not being there in taps and electricity not being there in their cables, is also arrogance. If you are arrogant and if you are domineering, you better be like Mr. Modi. So maybe in that case, voters will forgive you, but not beyond a point. But for regional leaders, voters don't like arrogance. We've seen again and again that once an image of arrogance builds, voters just come out and punish you. So I think that's a big liability for her.
But can I just get another specifically Rajasthani thing, that Maharanis and Maharajas are a little out of, they're out of contact, you don't see them much, and many of them are seen to be arrogant. So, but do people love Maharajas and Maharanis still?
They do actually. In a state like Rajasthan, I think the mystique of royalty works.
You're a Maharani. Sorry, I won't say that.
The mystique of royalty does work, and it has worked in Vasundhara's favor. There's a charisma, there's the royal, sort of mystique, the little somebody who's up there. So I think it's actually worked in her favor. It has.
Right. So, Dora, when you are arrogant and distant, don't forget you're not a Maharaja. Understood? So, which is more important, being a Maharaja or being arrogant?
Well, I think being a Maharaja and not in politics is very nice.
No, seriously, in this election, Shekhar made this very important point that, she's distant, seemed to be a bit arrogant. People just don't like that generally. But in this state, people also like a bit of, the history of Maharanis. Which works out stronger in a state like Rajasthan, do you think?
I think in a state like Rajasthan, there's so many royals, ladies also, Maharani of Jaipur, who've been in politics, who've been popular, who won elections.
Right.
So I think, there is no negative installed with it. It's just the personality of the individual. And, and not more than that, how does the economy perform, if there were, lots of lovely agriculture, growth, etc.
Right.
No, they'd all forgive that. It's only when things don't work out well, and they haven't worked out too well in Rajasthan the past few years, that there is resentment built up that he or she is not accessible. Don't forget, we've just come from a state of Telangana, where Mr. KCR hasn't been seen for years, and people love him.
True. Shekhar, fighting against her in this big fight are two really impressive Congress leaders, Sachin Pilot and Mr. Gehlot. Now, both are very impressive, both have huge bases, and they are articulate, and they are the opposite of arrogance, but you don't know who's going to be Chief Minister. So that's another trade-off. Fighting, will she be happy? They don't even know who the Chief Minister is going to be. Or is it that in the South they quite like, in fact they're saying it's Pilot, in the North they're saying it's Gehlot, so they're getting a double whammy?
Well, it depends. If they work together, then it's an advantage. Because unless you have a clear leader, say in Punjab, Congress has a clear leader, then it works.
That broke the revolving door.
Yes, but if you don't have a clear leader, and you have a caste breakup where one leader brings some value, the other leader brings some other value, and also in a state like this, some castes may not like a particular leader. Jats may not like Gujars, for example, or Minas may not like Gujars, and vice versa. So it's good to cover all bases. So I think it is a disadvantage if they had a chief minister who everybody in the Congress would accept, and who would then command a large voter base, would have worked. But since they don't have one, then I think this is a better idea.
Right.
And so far it looks like the campaign seems to be working together, not at cross purposes.
Yeah, they've both been very careful not to be critical of each other, not to assume they're going to be Chief Minister.
But I think it's the most disciplined that I have seen the Congress in some time. In both Madhya Pradesh and Rajasthan.
Right. I think one of the key factors is that while Vasundhara Raje is charismatic, both these other two leaders, the Congress leaders, Sachin Pilot and Gehlot, are also charismatic. It's just that there's not one of them, that's the difference. So we actually had a chat with Sachin Pilot and asked him about this problem, and of course he was very reticent. We did not ask him who's going to be Chief Minister, because you know what that answer is going to be. But what his view about this election is. Listen to Sachin Pilot. Thanks very much for joining us. I'm not going to ask you who's going to be the Chief Minister, because we all know that. But I'm not going to tell you who either. But I do want to ask you, and this I've asked, actually it's happened in Chhattisgarh, in Madhya Pradesh and here. In the hoardings, the local person is huge, and Rahul is small, and Modi is small. I've never seen Modi in a hoarding before. But in all these states, he's small, and the local candidate is like Shivraj Chauhan or Raman Singh, the main person. Here too, did you design the posters?
I didn't, but I think you're reading far too much into these poster designs. It's also a fact that no matter who comes to campaign from Delhi, the people of Rajasthan want answers for the 5 years of track record of Vasundhara Ji's government. The report card is appalling, and no matter how much Amit Shah ji and Modi ji come and campaign for the party, they can't dissociate themselves from the governance that Vasundhara ji has given. The face of the campaign is the local person who's been heading the government. Other ministers and Prime Minister and Mr. Amit Shah will come and say many things, but people may come and listen to them. But they made up their mind that they want to get rid of this BJP government.
Frankly, we've talked to a lot of people, and that is the mood. I don't normally say that to the other side. But nobody can explain to me, not even the Congress, why she has not done well. They say, we want to change, but why? What has gone wrong with Vasundhara's leadership?
I think from day one, when we lost elections in 2013 December, and they got a huge mandate, and frankly speaking, Vasundhara ji got the kind of mandate, she could have changed the face of Rajasthan. She had 165 MLAs out of 200, which I think no party has ever got since independence. So expectations were very high. Also, they overpromised a lot. And then when it comes to delivery, if the government is seen to be trying, is seen to be making a sincere attempt, people will give you credit for that. But for 5 years, the kind of arrogance we've seen in this government, farmers being forced to commit suicide, the average number of rapes per day is between 12 to 13.
Forced to commit suicide?
I mean, for the first time, Prannoy, because never before Rajasthan there's been drought, there's been floods, people have moved out of villages, but never have people killed themselves. And that's something that's happened for the first time in Rajasthan.
Your party was in power. You got 20 odd seats last time. That's shocking. As you said, it's a record. What went wrong, and how are you going to change that?
A, that's in the past. We did fairly badly, I have to concede. We won only 21 seats out of 200. And that really for us was a wake-up call. We changed our strategy, and since I became party president, from day one, I was in election mode. Because I know that the last 6 months, people and voters understand that leaders and political parties are coming here just to get votes. So to create a positive perception in the subconscious of the voters, you have to start working from day one.
I must end with one thing which kind of highlights the challenge you have. I honestly nearly cried. I was really so sad to go to a village here. Young kids, girl must have been 10 years old, full of life, full of wanting to study, and I want to do things. And I asked, what about your school? Half the teachers are gone, the principal's gone. She can't study. It's just, that's the challenge. There's just no teachers, no hospital, no doctors in hospitals. That is the grassroots, simple stuff that you have to implement, right?
No, I'm of the opinion that we can all talk about big items and big things, but we have to deliver the basic things a dignified human being deserves and needs. And it's not too much to expect a school teacher and a good education. We cannot allow these hopes to get trampled just because we want to look very fancy and do something that is going to be very, very talked about or very popular. Basic things, education, healthcare, security of life, living with dignity. And these young kids, I see them all the time. They have so much to offer to the world, and they are supposed to be a dividend. If we don't give them the platform, they'll become a liability on our society.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
पर आपको राजस्थान में क्या लग रहा है? क्या
राजस्थान में बदलाव होगा, लेकिन ये है कि बराबर की टक्कर है लास्ट में जाके हो सकता है, कोई गठबंधन भी हो सकता है, लेकिन बनेगी कांग्रेस की सरकार, ये
और चीफ मिनिस्टर कौन बनेगा इस बार, क्या लगता है आपको?
कौन सी जगह?
मुख्यमंत्री
तो अगर कांग्रेस से देखें तो हम भी नए चेहरे को देखना चाहते हैं, सचिन पायलट को,
नए चेहरे को देखना चाहते हैं।
मगर देंगे वो कि गेहलोत?
नहीं,
सवाल तो यही है ना, सवाल यही है, गेहलोत बनता है कि पायलट बनता है?
हम तो पायलट को देखते हैं। अगर हमारे टोंक से अगर पायलट जीतते हैं तो
गाँव में जो आप कह रहे हैं ज़्यादा बीजेपी की तरफ है, मगर अगर सचिन पायलट बनाए तो थोड़ा कांग्रेस की तरफ
नहीं। यूनुस खान जी का भाषण देखा था मैंने, तो उन्होंने ये बोला था, सचिन जी के ऊपर निशाना साधा था कि आप मुख्यमंत्री के दावेदार हो तो आप जनता को सामने बोलो ना कि मैं मुख्यमंत्री का दावेदार हूँ, टोंक का विकास करूँगा, टोंक के लिए बहुत कुछ करूँगा। आप जनता को गुमराह क्यों कर रहे हो? लेकिन वो भी स्पष्ट नहीं बोल पा रहे हैं कि मैं मुख्यमंत्री का दावेदार हूँ।
विधायक चुनेंगे ना,
अभी विधायक चुनेंगे, वो तो है, बट कम से कम जनता को ये तो पता होना कि मैं
ओपन नहीं है, मैं कौन बनेगा?
ओपन नहीं कर रखा अभी,
इधर से है भी नहीं,
ओपन होना चाहिए, जनता को पता होना चाहिए कि हमारा मुख्यमंत्री कौन बनेगा।
पड़ा था भाई, जब नारे लगे थे उसके,
अगर आज ही, अगर पहले ही ये कर दे तो शायद कांग्रेस में बंटवारा डिसीजन है। अशोक जी चाहते हैं कि मैं मुख्यमंत्री बनूं, सीपी जोशी चाहता है कि मैं मुख्यमंत्री बनूं, सचिन पायलट चाहता है कि मैं मुख्यमंत्री बनूं।
आप कहाँ काम करते हैं?
सर मैं ऐसे तो भाजपा देहात मंडल का अध्यक्ष हूँ, उसी टीम में वो शक्ति प्रभारी हूँ, इसी तो भाजपा से।
अच्छा, भाजपा के कार्यकर्ता है?
हाँ, भाजपा
प्रमुख और वो सब, वो आप मतलब शक्ति केंद्र के हो।
इसीलिए
तो ये आप क्यों कह रहे हैं कि बदलाव होगा?
बदलाव होगा सर, क्योंकि मैं खुद अपनी पार्टी के अंदर हूँ, मैं खुद देख रहा हूँ अपनी पार्टी के कार्यकर्ताओं, कोई लगाव नहीं है, कोई चिंता नहीं है, कोई इतना प्रेशर ही नहीं है।
इस बार कहना कि वो जो कौमी जनता का मानना है कि जो सेंट्रल गवर्नमेंट है ना, वो उसको चेंज करना चाहते हैं, वो उससे सेटिस्फाई नहीं है, तो उस वजह से वो क्या उसको चेंज चाहते हैं कि
सेंट्रल गवर्नमेंट को,
मतलब जो अपनी जो राजस्थान सरकार है उसको, उसके लिए सेंट्रल।
अच्छा, मतलब आपका सीएम चेंज करना है। अच्छा,
और ये चाहते हैं कि गहलोत कुछ डिमांड है कि अशोक गहलोत दोबारा है।
गहलोत बनेगा मुख्यमंत्री राजस्थान का।
अब पिछले बार आप किसको दिया था?
वसुंधरा को दिया था।
और इस बार
कांग्रेस को।
राजस्थान का मुद्दा तो यही है कि अब तो यही चाहते हैं कि गहलोत आए।
गहलोत आए? अच्छा अच्छा अच्छा, क्यों?
उसने युवाओं को रोजगार दिया था।
अच्छा अच्छा। I'm going to ask all three of you, if Congress wins, who's going to be Chief Minister? Okay, I'll give you 5 seconds. But Sachin Pilot certainly got charisma, very articulate. How has his campaign been here?
His campaign's been quite impressive, and he's been working at it for a long time. In Rajasthan's case, Rahul Gandhi has followed his father's template. You remember people like Gehlot, Digvijay Singh, YSR. His father had picked up in their 30s and given them the states and told them that, look, you go and build the party in this state. In fact, that's what he had told Mr. Gehlot. You go and build the party in this state, but go and also tell your chief minister, who's a senior man, that you will not disturb him. You will let him be. Your turn will come. And as his turn came, he did become chief minister. So I think that's.
But they do say that the Congress doesn't like any leader to become too big.
Well,
and
that's
will
always
they be worried
the
about
case,
Sachin Pilot doing that?
But the point is, can the Congress afford to carry on like that? Because Congress has seen 44. Once you've seen a number of 44
seats in Parliament,
when you are not even entitled to an official leader of the opposition, I think it should make you a lot more humble.
You mean they should do that word, introspect?
Retrospect? I think time for introspection is over. I think it's time now to face the reality.
Have you found that he is, Sachin Pilot, very popular and has perhaps is probably one of the best younger generation Congress leaders coming up? Is that
yes, absolutely. Like what Shekhar said, they've seen 44 in Parliament. Well, in Rajasthan, they've seen 21.
Yeah.
And I've been covering Sachin from the time he was sent here in January.
Zero in Lok Sabha.
Yeah, and he was sent here in January. He's got grit, he's got determination, and he just put his head down and he worked for 5 years. So it's, you know, it's not just this campaign. He's actually sort of energized the party and built it up, rebuilt it.
And really is a Delhiwala who moved here and became much more of a Rajasthan person.
Yes, he was never out of Jaipur. I mean, if you ever called him, he would be, maybe if he was in Delhi, he'd be back the next day. Maximum 1 day out of Rajasthan. Right. So he's really kind of worked.
Dora, you've watched Sachin Pilot for a long while. Very impressive. Is that a good thing, or is that a bad thing for him? If he's too good, I mean, Congress party generally in the old days was never happy with any leader becoming too strong. They would chop them at the state. But as Shekhar says, those days have gone. They've had to really rethink.
I haven't floated theories for some time, so let me float this
theory. Oh no, theory, I'm off.
Both Madhya Pradesh and Rajasthan. That what will happen is that they will give, you know, the parties becoming younger, they need younger leaders. So at the beginning, they'll give a couple of years to say Kamal Nath if they win, and to Gehlot, and then slowly slide in Jyotiraditya and Pilot, because I think they are the future. I mean, you can't see Mr. Gehlot and Mr. Kamal Nath fighting elections 15 years later. You can see Jyotiraditya and Sachin Pilot fighting elections 15 years later.
Interesting.
Rahul himself is young.
Right.
So I think he'll try and convey his view that the youth have to get some place.
That's a really interesting theory. It's kind of advice to the Congress. They've also, Congress asked me to give you a message that there's a post vacant as the head of the Congress party. Would you like to accept that, Dorab? Because these kind of ideas are brilliant.
No, but whether they are or not, my point is that...
No, I'm saying you could raise the Congress from 44 seats to 440 single-handedly, Dorab.
They may not, but my question is that they'll become 24. I think that is the option.
Oh, they're both bidding for you. Yeah, Shekhar says both parties are bidding for you, Dorab.
Good.
Good.
Okay. The lowest bidder can have me.
I won't ask you who you choose, but anyway.
But
I know who you choose, being a Parsi, whoever pays more. Shocking. Shocking.
Let's wait and see.
What? Let's wait and see. Only time will tell.
Yes.
Anything can happen.
And there isn't too long to wait.
Okay.
There isn't too long to wait, just a couple of weeks.
Let's get serious now. One of the most heartening factors about this election, well, there are two. One is that women are turning out in larger and larger numbers. And guess what? Women are voting in higher percentages than men in Rajasthan. Rajasthan, which is meant to be a very conservative society, it's not. Women are fiercely independent and they come out and vote in large numbers. Just look at how it's changed over the years. Way back in 1962, men's turnout was 63%, women's was 41%. Women turnout was 22% less than men. Just in 2003, men were still ahead of women in turnout. 70% of men voted, 64% of women, so men were 6% ahead. But look at the last election, 2013, 75% men, 76% women. Women 1% higher than men. From being behind 20%, now they're ahead by 1%. So the women's vote matters. Maybe Vasundhara Raje has got an advantage there, but clearly a lot of policies of any government are going to be targeted at the women voter now, which they used to ignore earlier because they're 20% less voting, they don't really matter. Anyway, they listen to their husbands. Everywhere we've been in this country, women say they vote independently, they don't listen to what their husbands say, and they say it in front of their husband who stands meekly by. I think he does what they say.
Yes, in fact, we're talking about swings. If you look at swings, I think this 22% is the most virtuous of all swings, irrespective
probably
of
the only virtuous
who wins in either election.
Right.
It's, you can say, you can celebrate this in a totally non-partisan manner.
Right. Yeah.
Because a 22% gap in a patriarchal state really made women very marginal to its politics.
To its politics, to its policies, everything,
big change, and I bet there is a deeper sociological reason to it. Either this is growing literacy, more women going to school, having fewer children. There must be many factors behind this. Right. Because this is really a radical social change.
Yes, yes. What is this actually? As Shekhar says, it is just wonderful to see this from -22 to +1 women higher turnout than men. What has brought women out in Rajasthan?
You know, Dr. Roy, when we used to report in '96 and in the elections, I remember when I just joined NDTV in the 90s.
You were 2 years old.
Manvender's first election, when I went to Barmer, I couldn't get a vox pop out of a lady. Right. And now when you go, they are just so articulate. Young girls, you know, you go in there. The one thing has happened is, of course, like you're saying, the larger sociological trend, more girls are in school now. In fact, we used to have an 11% dropout rate, but they're narrowing the gap down. So more girls are in school. The schemes, for example, the Bhamasha scheme, which is the Vasundhara Raje government scheme, has made women the head of the household. All social benefits go through her. The Congress has realized this. So the Congress manifesto says free education for women for as long as they want to study. So it's of course, it's a sociological change. It's education, you know, also empowering through these schemes. And both the parties have realized that. So you see women very prominently in their manifestos also.
Right.
Also 20 years back, when we started traveling together, in the Hindi heartland, no woman would say, I will vote any differently than from what my husband
Now
says.
they proudly...
Now it's nearly... Somebody might say, why should I? We'll see. But nobody says, I will vote as my husband says. And now we've seen Chhattisgarh, Madhya Pradesh, Rajasthan, Telangana. This is quite a
big change in India.
Change in India.
Dorab, this major change where women turnout is higher, very, very significant. And we won't talk about the politics of it, who's going to help. But why is it happening all over India?
I think partly because of the Panchayat Raj bill, which gave more women compulsorily more seats, more positions in seats of authority.
Yeah.
And I think that seems to have encouraged women to participate more in public life.
Right.
I think Harsha will tell you there is some American educated lady who's the sarpanch. She comes on TV shows all the time.
Right.
Of a Rajasthan village. So, I think the very fact that at the beginning when they got power, the husband decided everything. But soon they got more and more power, more and more authority. So, and also the government's doing more and more for women in terms of many schemes.
Right, and you're right. I'm glad
beneficiaries are.
Yeah, I'm glad you brought up the Panchayat and municipal election. Their turnout is also very high, and assembly elections much higher than Lok Sabha. National journalists of international fame, I won't name anybody, they focus so much on the Lok Sabha, but the people focus on assembly. Look at another big swing. The Vidhan Sabha elections versus Lok Sabha election turnout. Between 1977 and 1990, what was the average? Vidhan Sabha turnout average 53%, Lok Sabha average 56%. So more people used to turn out for Lok Sabha in those days. Now look at it. If you look at the average even, 2000 to 2014 in Rajasthan, the Vidhan Sabha turnout is now 70%. It's gone from 53 to 70. And the Lok Sabha actually has gone down from 56 to 54. Dorab, now that is a huge change. Not so much interest in what you focus on, the big shots in Parliament, in Lok Sabha. People are more worried about, more concerned, more involved with assemblies and panchayats and municipalities. Big change, right?
I think we've discussed this before that, I don't see my MP, I don't know my MP. He represents 15 lakh voters.
Right.
My municipal corporator represents 50,000 people. My MLA represents 2 lakh people. The odds I know him, I can go to him, I can talk to him, I can get things done. Because now I have the vote.
Yeah. So
the other man is just much too distant.
So Shekhar, just like the women increase, this is also a welcome increase. It's again non-political. It doesn't always benefit any particular party.
But there's politics behind it, which is constitutional politics, because we were designed to be a federal country, but we were never a federal country until one party ruled everything. Once different parties started ruling different states, and also you started getting coalitions, states became more powerful. We moved closer to our federal idea. And as that's happened, chief ministers have become more powerful, more power has devolved, more cash has devolved to the states, more schemes have devolved to the states, and chief ministers are very assertive. In this state, we see that Vasundhara Raje has even been assertive vis-a-vis her own central government in Delhi.
And you've got Mamata Banerjee, you've got Jayalalitha, you've got Mayawati.
So I think the last 25 years, post 1989, people have begun to figure that states matter, that everything doesn't come from the big capital in Delhi.
They're much more involved in the states. And so, Harsha, one of the factors you mentioned that women are much more voluble, vocal, and state their views. We did talk to a lot of women voters across Rajasthan. Listen to some of the voices of the women of this state, the strong, powerful women that are voting much more in this state. पिछले बार
तो बीजेपी का दी दाई थे
और इस बार
देखा कोई आगे चला को ती देगा ती जिन्न करा आगे तिन्ने ऐसा हो रहा
मतलब बीजेपी को दोबारा देंगे कि नहीं
अब जे तो आगे
नहीं बता रहे
आगे सोचेगा क्या होता
लेकिन आपको बदलाव चाहिए
जब बन जाएगा तो ती नहीं दे देगा ती अच्छे काम कराओगे ती देगा
ठीक है
भाई ती अच्छे काम करोगे ती देगा
जो अच्छे काम करते हैं
हाँ जो तो टीका तोड़ी को कभी बीजेपी ने दिया कांग्रेस ने दिया कच्चो अच्छो आ जाओगे ती दे देंगे
यहाँ पे कैसे चल रहा हवा किस ओर पे चल रहा है इस बार
हवा तो चली नहीं है हवा तो हवा
अच्छा नहीं कौन सा पार्टी थोड़ा आगे है इस बार
हाँ तो हवा पार्टी तो आई नहीं है
पार्टी नहीं आया हवा सिर्फ हवा है
शुरू तुम आए
अरे मैं तो मुँह तो कोई मेरे मकान बनवा दे तो मैं तो कांग्रेस को दे दूँ
आपको कांग्रेस पिछले बार
कांग्रेस का ही दे
नहीं पिछली बार किसको दिया था
जनता ने दे
इस इलेक्शन में आगे कौन चल रहा बीजेपी ही इज गोइंग अहेड अच्छा अच्छा why
Because they improving many मतलब बहुत सारे एरियाज में उन्होंने मतलब इम्प्रूवमेंट किया है, बहुत विकास किए हैं, मतलब गरीबों को समझाया है, स्टूडेंट्स को समझाया है, उनकी हेल्प की है, मेरे से तो पर्सनली हेल्प की है, तो मेरे को पता है।
सर उसमें तो बीजेपी में देती है जो सर उसमें बोला हार और चाहिए तो मेरे नाम तरफ हाँ।
So those are some of the voices of the increasingly strong voter base, the women of Rajasthan. Perhaps slightly contrary to that, that good news about women's turnout being so high is the fact that caste still is a crucial factor in this election. And while obviously any caste, and we said this again and again, not that 100% vote one way or the other, but a large majority, like 70-30 of certain castes, vote because of their caste. Just look at the caste divisions across Rajasthan. This is what it looks like. In the northwestern side, there's the Jat belt. That's 75 seats, very, very important. North is the scheduled caste belt. A really important area, perhaps a little pro-Congress. But we'll come to which caste tend to vote which way in a minute. Then the central belt, the Rajputs. A narrow belt right across. These are, of course, the most dominant, the most respected caste in this state. Let's go quickly south. The Meenas, the scheduled tribes, right in the south and towards the extreme east of this state. And right next to them, a little bit north of them, northeast, are the Gujars. Now there's direct competition between the scheduled tribes and the Gujars, and direct competition between the Rajputs and the Jats. And then there's a belt that goes kind of sporadically throughout Rajasthan center, and that is the Brahmins, the Banyas, the Punjabis and others who tend to vote overwhelming for the BJP. So what is the base? Just taking 2013 and 2014, the pro-BJP castes were then, and this is going to change, Brahmins and Banyas and basically the forward castes, 10% of this population in Rajasthan, strongly for BJP, like 75-25. The Gujars, 9% of the population, again pro-BJP last time. Rajputs, again pro-BJP, not quite as much as the Brahmins, but still 2/3, 1/3. And the Jats, 15%, a hugely important sector of this society, caste in this society. So that's the pro-BJP caste. The pro-Congress caste, again by just narrow margins, scheduled castes 17%, about the national average, little below, tend to vote a little bit in favor of the Congress, maybe like 55-45 or 60-40. The scheduled tribes, 13%, lower than the national average, again slightly pro-Congress, maybe 55-45. The Meenas, and all this may change, 6% of this population tend to vote for the Congress. And of course the Muslims, very wary about the BJP, are 9% of this population, well below the national average, tend to vote for the Congress. But remember, major shifts in these caste equations are expected this time in 2018. Now, why will these shifts take place? Like, for example, the Rajputs are upset that traditional BJP voters, they set up the Jansangh here, you told me.
Yes, so the Rajput vote bank, there's been a change in perception. Ever since Jaswant Singh was not given a ticket, it started then. And then after that, there was, like I said, the encounter of gangster Anand Pal, who was looked upon as a Robin Hood figure. So that shift happened in the by-election. But now if you look at the assembly elections, the BJP has realized that, and they've given many more tickets to Rajput candidates than the Congress has. So they are they want to hold on to that vote bank because
it's easier to hold on than to win a new one. So at least they've realized that, the BJP.
Yes. So
but there was an anger.
There was a definite anger in February. The BJP is now trying
which showed in the by-elections also, yes.
And they're trying to hold on to that. They've given many more tickets. The Congress may not be able to draw the Rajputs towards them. They haven't given very many tickets.
And they historically never have had their support.
They've never had their support.
So this caste division, very strong in this state, right?
Yes, and very diverse, because no caste is dominant, or no 2 or 3 castes are dominant.
Right.
The largest castes are 15%, 17%. So this is a much fairer division of castes here.
Right,
And no 2 castes or no 2 major groups have a traditional alliance. As in UP, you have Yadavs and Muslims. You don't see that here.
But you know, there is this theory of, I think you were talking about contest between or antagonism between different castes. And there's a theory of relative deprivation. It's the Jats and the Rajputs, because they are close to each other. They want to. And what about the other relative? They don't look at, I'm the lowest, I'm going to look at the highest. They look at whoever's just above them, relatively deprived.
So for example, the Gujar and the Meenas. The Gujars feel squeezed with the Jats, and so they want to, get the benefits that the Meenas get. So even the Gujars and Meenas, wherever they live close together.
Meenas are a scheduled tribe.
Yeah. So
yes.
There's that sort of a contest.
So it won't be
also.
that the Meenas are contesting against the Rajputs. They're like, I give up there. Well, but they're a little bit against the
Gujars are demanding scheduled tribe status. That's why. Because OBC is now very competitive, because Jats are there as well.
Dorab, do you understand the meaning of the theory of relative deprivation?
Yes.
You do?
Yes.
Any theories on that you want to expound on all the caste factors in this election?
No, but look at the religious factors. The representation of Muslims have been pretty low in Rajasthan.
9%, yes.
Unless a community is concentrated, it tends to be deprived in terms of electoral representation, unless it's very powerful, like the Rajputs are, the Jats are, who even though small, relatively smaller and well dispersed, have still, because of the historical perspective, are in a position to gain more seats.
Right. Tell me, the Gujars traditionally BJP, but this time Sachin Pilot is Gujar.
Yes.
So that could be one of the major shifts, because we met a lot of them who were saying, our man is going to be Chief Minister, and Gujars.
The Gujars absolutely worship anybody who is, in a position of power. So they really look up. A lot of the Gujars will go into the police, the army. At one time, we've had some very famous Gujar dacoits also. So the Gujars definitely, they worship any kind of a person who seems to be powerful and has influence.
From their community.
From their community, yes.
Okay. And there are going to be many other shifts. What about Ashok Gehlot? Where does he fit in with this entire caste breakup?
Well, he's from the Mali community. So the Malis are OBCs. The Mali votes have always come to him. But the Malis are not an aggressive, they're not in contest with anyone, like you're saying. So there's no Jat, Rajput rivalry, Gujar, Meena.
Right, Ashok Gehlot is also not very aggressive.
Yes,
he's a very mild personality.
He's very much like an old-fashioned congressman, saying yes to everything.
And people like him, and he's an attractive personality, and that's what you need in politics. So we caught up with Ashok Gehlot, didn't ask him the question, who's going to be Chief Minister. That's not fair. Listen to what he had to say. So thank you very much for joining us. I know you have a sore throat also, you're shouting too much at the rallies. But tell me, sir, you are the son of a magician. So you also know a bit of magic. What magic are you going to do in this election?
नहीं, मैं जिंदगी भर मैजिक ही करता रहा हूँ और अभी भी मैजिक ही कर रहा हूँ जो कुछ मैं कर रहा हूँ पार्टी के लिए या सोसाइटी के लिए, देश के लिए, तो मैं समझता हूँ कि ये मैजिक से कम नहीं है ये मैं मानता हूँ
You are the most experienced, you know Rajasthan inside out, you are Rajasthan. So explain to us why one election, one party wins, next election, another party, revolving door, in, out, ये क्यों है?
ये पहले नहीं था,
पहले नहीं था, लेकिन 25 साल के लिए ऐसे चल रहा है।
हाँ, 93 के बाद में, अब कह सकते हैं 90 के बाद में ये होने लगा है और एंटी-इनकम्बेंसी कह दीजिए उसको, या आजकल ज़माना बदल गया है। पहले ज़माना और था, इंदिराजी का ज़माना था तो एक और अलग था देश के अंदर। फिर राजीव जी आए तब भी अलग मैसेज था। बाद में देश की राजनीति भी ऐसी हो गई है कि परसेप्शन से चलती राजनीति। हाँ, कि कैसे आप इसको बोफोर्स ले लिया, बोफोर्स चला दे 25 साल तक, और उसके ऊपर सरकारें चली गई। फिर आप देखिए कभी भी स्पष्ट बहुमत किसी को नहीं मिला। 30 साल के बाद में मोदी जी को मिला स्पष्ट बहुमत, पर उन्होंने उसका रेस्पेक्ट नहीं किया।
सर, जैसे उन्होंने कहा है कि भाई लगातार, जैसे मध्य प्रदेश में हम देख रहे हैं कि उसकी मतलब वो बात है कि वो मध्य प्रदेश में जीत रही, राजस्थान में, तो आपको लगता है यहाँ पे जो डिज़ायर फॉर चेंज है, लोग चाहते हैं कि बदलाव हो, नेतृत्व बदले, ये कुछ जागरूकता से भी जुड़ा हुआ है? जैसे कि आप कह रहे थे कि बदल गया है, तो वोटर ज़्यादा जागरूक हुआ है राजस्थान में? आपको ये लगता है, आपका अनुभव बहुत है वोटर्स के साथ?
नहीं, वो भी हुआ है। राजस्थान एक फेडरल स्टेट रहा है, वो मैंडेट वो भी होती है। और वसुंधरा जी खुद भी जिस फैमिली से आती हैं, वो भी एक कारण हो सकता है कि उनको चांस मिल गया 2 बार, जो मिलना नहीं चाहिए था मेरे हिसाब से। तो कोई परफॉर्मेंस नहीं थी उन्होंने मेरे हिसाब से।
अनबायस्ड कमेंट है।
नहीं,
न्यूट्रल कमेंट।
नहीं, मेरा मतलब कि परफॉर्मेंस वाइज मैं देखता हूँ कि जो हमारी गवर्नमेंट ने किया, मैं दावे के साथ कह सकता हूँ कि 3 अकाल पड़े थे मेरे वक्त में, 98 के वक्त में भयंकर अकाल पड़ा था। जो शानदार मैनेजमेंट मैंने किया उस वक्त में, पूरा कंट्री का ब्यूरोक्रेट जानता है कि मैनेजमेंट कैसा हुआ उस वक्त में। फिर भी हमारी गवर्नमेंट चली गई उस वक्त में।
इस बार आपकी पार्टी का व्हाट इज योर मेन अपोनेंट? इज इट वसुंधरा जी और मोदी जी? मेन अपोनेंट इन राजस्थान?
हमारे लिए तो देखिए, वसुंधरा जी की तो जो कुशासन रहा है यहाँ पर, 163 सीटें आने के बाद में लोगों की आशाएं अपेक्षाओं पे पानी फेर दिया उन्होंने। आज आम जनता पूछ रही हमारा कसूर क्या था, हमने आपको इतना भारी बहुमत दिया, फिर भी आपने लापरवाही से शासन क्यों चलाया?
I will not ask you who will be next Chief Minister. I won't ask you. But which do you like more? Being in Rajasthan Chief Minister or being in centre? You are doing a lot of work with the Congress Party in the centre also. Very important work. मज़ा किस में आता है ज़्यादा?
देखिए, मज़े की बात नहीं है,
नहीं, enjoyment.
नहीं, कर्तव्य की बात है। अभी कर्तव्य मेरा ये कहता है कि पार्टी ने मेरे पे इतना बड़ा ट्रस्ट किया। मैं 3 बार केंद्रीय मंत्री बना, 3 बार पीसीसी प्रेसिडेंट बना, 2 बार मैं AICC का महामंत्री बना, दोबारा इस बार बना, और 10 साल मुख्यमंत्री रहा, 5 बार मेंबर पार्लियामेंट बना। तो मेरा फ़र्ज़ बनता है कि आज पार्टी को जरूरत मेरी कहाँ पर है, वो पार्टी हाईकमान तय करे, वो मुझे मंजूर होगा।
So one RSS BJP person told me that we very like what the Congress is doing. They are making all Hindus, they are making a Hindu Muslim and making BJP Hindu party, and all Hindus are going there. Indira Gandhi was much cleverer. She said BJP is a Baniya party. In fact, Vajpayee made a joke of it, said her Hindi is bad, she didn't mean Baniya party, she said BJP Baniye. So is that you are making all Hindus go to the BJP, is that a strategy problem?
देखिए, ये परसेप्शन बना दिया इन लोगों ने कि कांग्रेस प्रो मुस्लिम है, इसके कारण ये सब बातें आ रही है। हम लोग सब हिंदू हैं।
Are they successful in making this perception?
एक बार सक्सेस हो गए, सक्सेस हुए राम मंदिर के नाम पे हुए, और धीरे धीरे भावना पब्लिक में बनती चली गई कि कांग्रेस प्रो मुस्लिम है। जबकि कांग्रेस तो गांधी जी के ज़माने से जो है वही है आज भी, जो सर्वधर्म समभाव में विश्वास करती है, सबको साथ लेकर चलती है, और देश की आवश्यकता है जहाँ अनेकता में एकता का वाला मुल्क है। जातियाँ हजारों यहाँ पर है, अलग अलग धर्म हैं यहाँ पर, हिंदू, मुस्लिम, सिख, ईसाई, फारसी, जैन, बोलिए तमिल, तेलुगु, मलयालम, बंगाली, गुजराती, मराठी, इतनी बोलियाँ, पता नहीं क्या लिखा हुआ, क्या पढ़े उसको समझ नहीं सकता कोई। इतने बड़े मुल्कों को एक रखना, अखंड रखना बहुत बड़ी बात थी। सच्चाई गांधी के साथ में, सच्चाई पटेल के साथ में, सच्चाई नेहरू के साथ में, सच्चाई मौलाना अबू कलाम आज़ाद के साथ में, सच्चाई अमेरिका के साथ में, इनके साथ में नहीं है जो ये बात बोलते आए हैं, मेरा मानना है।
Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
So that was Ashok Gehlot, a seasoned leader, as Shekhar was saying, a typical old-fashioned Congress leader, but still carries a lot of weight. Now, so someone like him to say, I don't want to be Chief Minister again, I will step back and let this young man, very tough. And a lot of people are saying, Arey, Sachin Pilot has lots of time, he can be in the future, but that doesn't
Nobody
work.
says that thing in politics. In fact, an immortal line was once spoken to me by Om Prakash Chautala of Haryana, when he said, in some context, he said, "Bhai sahab, hum rajniti karne aaye hain, hum tirth yatra pe nahi aaye." So these guys are here in the quest for power. They work very hard. They take no prisoners. It's a winner takes all combat.
Yeah.
So there, nobody will say "Pehle aap." They are not Lucknowis.
So, but he's been very mature in this election. He hasn't kind of worked deviously, although a lot of people say he's praying for a very narrow victory because he can handle the situation, and Sachin is praying for a big victory. But there's no evidence that he's working for a narrow victory.
Well, you know, in the ticket distribution, a lot of people also said that when the tickets were being given out, it was
Why
like
are we
my
doing-
man, your man, you know,
Oh,
kind of a
okay.
thing. So I think, and the Congress tickets came out much later than the BJP's. So was it because there was some kind of a contest? We don't know. It never really came out in the open, but it's a possibility.
Right. So Dorab, I'm not going to ask you who's going to be Chief Minister because you've already said. But it's...
And you, hold
Sorry,
it.
go ahead.
You haven't mentioned the third contender,
Yes.
C.P. Joshi,
Yeah, C.P. Joshi as well, third contender.
who lost by 1 vote
Yep.
in the 2013 election.
Quite right. So we did ask a lot of people about the issues in this election and who's the leadership going to be and what really is the factors behind their vote. Listen to what they had to say.
अभी सर इधर तो कांग्रेस की बताऊंगा।
कांग्रेस। अब पिछले बार किसका था?
पिछली बार बीजेपी का।
बीजेपी और इस बार कांग्रेस। तो क्यों चेंज क्यों हुआ?
ये तो जनता के ऊपर है।
नहीं मतलब
चेंज इसलिए सर
मुद्दा क्या है?
बीजेपी ने ऐसा सर कुछ किया भी तो नहीं है। आपके लिए दिख रहा है गलियों में भी कोई कीचड़ का कीचड़, कहाँ भी आरसीसी, सभी गाँवों में देखो, सभी गाँवों में आरसीसी रोड, यहाँ पे क्या है गलियों में भी कीचड़ है। तो रास्ता होना चाहिए, गाड़ी भी उधर रहता है।
अच्छा, तो किया नहीं, कुछ नहीं
किया। क्या कुछ फायदा भी नहीं हुआ ना।
कौन सा पार्टी थोड़ा आगे अभी इस बार?
ऐसे तो बीजेपी है, कहा जाए तो बीजेपी है।
बीजेपी आगे चल रहा है इस बार?
हाँ, लेकिन इस क्षेत्र से बीजेपी आएगा नहीं।
आएगा नहीं, क्यों?
इधर का छोटा एमएलए है जो कार्यकर्ता है, जो मतलब पार्टी पोजीशन ज्यादा करता है, इसलिए ज्यादातर इधर से कांग्रेस ही आएगा।
जो बीजेपी काम नहीं कर रही तो फिर उन्हें हम वोट नहीं देंगे। अच्छा, क्यों नहीं देंगे कि काम हमारे, हम मोटर है, हमारे हाथ से डारी है हमने, जो हमारे पड़ोसी ने सब ने पूरा गांव पानी पी रहा है और पूछ के कह दिया कोई दिक्कत नहीं, हम बीजेपी ने कोई काम नहीं करा।
नहीं होगा चेंज, बीजेपी में देंगे वोट।
आप देंगे बीजेपी दोबारा? कारण क्या है? मतलब काम ठीक किया उन्होंने?
काम ठीक क्या है, युवा विधायक है हमारा, अच्छे काम करता है। जब भी हम बात करते हैं, बात सामने आती है, काम करते हैं, यहाँ करते हैं। काम नहीं होगा, परंतु मैं ये नहीं होगा कि वो लोग फोन भी अटेंड नहीं करते, तुरंत फोन अटेंड करते हैं वो।
जी हमारा मूड तो फिलहाल में ये है कि हम तो जनता पार्टी को वोट देंगे।
बीजेपी? अच्छा, दोबारा देंगे। पिछले बार किसको दिया था? पिछले बार
मैंने तो
बीजेपी और इस बार?
मैं तो बीजेपी का ही हूँ।
बीजेपी आगे चल रहा, बीजेपी आगे चल रहा। आप भी बीजेपी, आप दोनों बीजेपी को देंगे। और पिछले बार बीजेपी, पिछले बार भी आप भैया? बीजेपी पिछले बार भी बीजेपी। अच्छा, पिछली बार भी बीजेपी?
पिछली बार भी बीजेपी में दिया है, इस बार भी बीजेपी।
आप बीजेपी? पिछले बार बीजेपी। तो सब बीजेपी इस बार और पिछले बार। इस इलेक्शन में आगे कौन सा पार्टी आगे चल रहा है? बीजेपी। आप पिछले बार किसको दिया था? बीजेपी को। और इस बार बीजेपी को देंगे। कारण क्यों? बीजेपी को अच्छा क्यों लगता है? हाँ जी, विकास अच्छा हो रहा है। तो इस इलेक्शन में आगे कौन चल रहा है इस बार यहाँ पे? बीजेपी।
सचिन दोनों की कड़ी टक्कर है।
दोनों का
कांटे की टक्कर सचिन की ज्यादा है।
सचिन के ज्यादा है। आप
तो
कह रहे हैं
भारी मतों से सचिन साहब निकलेंगे।
लग रहा है बाकी
सचिन साहब की
इस पर कोई पता लगेगा।
हाँ जी,
चुनाव का जो रिजल्ट आएगा 11 दिसंबर को, जब पता लगेगा क्या चल रहा है। अभी बिल्कुल बहुत बढ़िया चल रहा है, बीजेपी का माहौल है पूरा, और मुस्लिम वोटर भी बीजेपी को वोट देने के लिए तैयार है, और घर घर में जो प्रत्याशी है पूरे जा रहे हैं।
आप किसको देंगे?
हम बीजेपी को सपोर्ट करते हैं।
पिछले बार
बीजेपी।
पिछले बार आप किसको वोट दिया था?
प्रभुलाल सेने को।
मतलब कौन सा पार्टी? बीजेपी
को।
और
इस बार प्रमोद भाया को।
कांग्रेस
को वोट देंगे इस बार।
अच्छा, कितने लोग कांग्रेस को वोट देंगे? हाथ उठाइए।
कांग्रेस
और कितना भैया, मतलब 90% कांग्रेस और बीजेपी
70%।
बीजेपी कौन देंगे इस बार?
बीजेपी को नहीं देंगे हम इस बार। कोई नहीं है, बीजेपी का वोट ही कोई नहीं, एक भी कोई नहीं। हम क्या मैं सब
70% बीजेपी कांग्रेस
70%।
बीजेपी को ही दिया था राजपुरा से, खुद परेशान है बीजेपी से।
पहले बीजेपी सरकार को वोट दिया था, हमारे को कुछ ही नहीं दिया। टेम्पू चलाना पड़ रहा है हमारे को, ऑटो रिक्शे से बेरोजगार।
बहुत
क्या करें, अब की बार है आज की सरकार है।
पिछले बार आप किसको वोट दिया था? पिछले बार
बीजेपी को वोट दिया था।
अच्छा,
भवानी सिंह जी को दिया था हमने।
बीजेपी पिछले बार। और इस बार
कांग्रेस को देंगे।
पिछले बार बीजेपी और इस बार कांग्रेस को। आप भी पिछले बार
कांग्रेस जीतेगी, कांग्रेस इस बार। तो
पिछली बार मोदी से था और बीजेपी से था, बट इस बार राजस्थान बदलाव चाहते हैं। सबसे मोटी बात यह, लोग 5 साल में बहुत परेशान भी हुए, विकास भी बहुत करवाया है, मानदेय चीज़ों में विकास करवाया है, बट धर्म से धर्म को बांट दिया, हिंदू मुस्लिम दंगे करवा दिए। टॉप के अंदर आज तक दंगे नहीं हुए, टॉप के अंदर हिंदू मुस्लिम दंगे करवा दिए, बूंदी के अंदर हिंदू मुस्लिम दंगे हुए।
और अब की बार परिवर्तन होगा, ये निश्चित है, कोई रोक नहीं सकता परिवर्तन को।
So once again, a lot of divergent views, but generally people saying they voted BJP last time and they'll vote Congress this time. There's quite a switch, quite a swing. But of course, this is not a random sample. Let's see what the random sample has to say. This is a poll of opinion polls that have been done over the last month in Rajasthan. This is what it looks like. Poll of opinion polls says the Congress is going to get 125 seats out of the 200. That's up 104 seats since last time. Remember, 21 up to 125. The BJP, the polls say, will get 67. That's down 96 seats since last time. The BSP, 2, down 1 seat. It only got 3 last time, 2 this time, marginal player. And others, 6, that's independents and others, and rebels, down from 13 to 6. That's what the poll of polls say. We also have the bellwether constituencies. These are constituencies that have voted, whoever they vote in their particular constituency, that party also forms a party at the center. Here they are distributed all across Rajasthan, and you can get details of them on ndtv.com, the website. Just log in and look at each one. If you want to check who's winning, go visit those constituencies. Many of the people we talked to were from these constituencies. And finally,
can I say something?
Yeah,
for a
sure.
moment
Go ahead.
About polls?
Yeah, go ahead with the polls.
You know, we've given the seats. I quickly worked out the vote shares.
Vote shares, yes.
And the vote share, there is a 10% difference between the Congress and the BJP. I have left out one poll where 20-30% don't know. But there's a 10% vote difference. Last time, the BJP led the Congress by 12%.
Right. So you're talking about
a 10% vote
20% difference. Yeah, it's almost like.
So the question is,
like
your 120-30 is quite unreasonable with a 10% lead.
Right, amazing.
In essentially a two-party fight.
It is a two-party fight. Right, right. Well, finally, let's just give you a summary of all the interviews we did. We did actually 103 TV chats with voters. We did many more, but many of them were not recorded. But these were 103 recorded chats. And this is a summary of what we found. Now, remember, this is not an opinion poll. It is not a random sample. It's just an indicator, just for fun, to see what actually happened. Remember, a total of 103. Those who voted BJP last time and voted BJP are voting BJP again this time, 20 people out of the 103. Those who voted Congress last time and are voting Congress again this time, 21. Now those who voted, so that's about even. Those who voted BJP in 2013 and are swinging to Congress in this time in 2018, 37. So overwhelmingly we found people switching from BJP to Congress. Those who voted Congress last time were swinging to the BJP, 0 that we found. Again, not a random sample, don't take this too seriously, but if you tally these, the total out of 100, 20 to the BJP and 58 to the Congress. It's a huge difference. There are swings to others of 9, that people who said they voted BJP last time and will not vote BJP and will never vote Congress. So they're going to others, including major rebel candidates. And there were 6 who refused to answer out of the 103. One of the interesting things is that only 6 refused to answer. People answer. They're a little hesitant at the beginning and then they ask.
It's a big change, from initially people going quiet, then people smiling at you saying, "Aap bataiye kisko vote kare," then saying, "Why should I tell you?" To now saying, "I'll vote for so and so," and I voted for so and so.
And in a crowd, and some are voting BJP, some are voting Congress.
No, in fact, in a crowd, you can ask for a show of hands. How many are voting for Congress? Hands go up. How many voting for BJP? Hands go up.
And they don't attack each other. It's really...
No, in fact, it's great fun. I think we saw it in Punjab. It was like a tamasha. And then people will be pulling each other's legs, saying, "Oh, will you vote for so and so? Come on, you will not vote for so and so."
Yeah, it's just open democracy. Wonderful, a big change, as you say. There are some, we mentioned, there are some rebel candidates which people are saying, "I will not vote BJP, but I can't vote Congress, and I'll vote for somebody."
So when a lot of young men, young Jat boys are saying, "We'll vote for Hanuman Beniwal." So he actually, in the Jat vote, which is quite big, we said 15%. Yes. Hanuman Beniwal could actually divide the Jat votes, and so he's one factor.
Right.
That,
yeah, but generally, while Dorab, this is nowhere near like a random survey. 20 to the BJP, 58 to the Congress. It's quite a big difference. It's an indicator.
Yeah, and I think more relevant is that there is virtually nobody you found who said had voted for the BJP and will vote for the Congress. You expect some interchanging to take place.
Yes.
You're saying that, it's all one way. There's nobody.
Very few voted for the Congress and saying they're going to vote for the BJP. Yes.
Yeah, one would expect
none in your
we never met anybody.
There's just no change at all, no interchange.
And we did go to many of these bellwether constituencies. But Harsha, I must say one thing, that when we entered Rajasthan and we went to some of the villages, I did face some of the most emotionally saddest periods I've had in all my career. Talking to young schoolgirls and their reactions, that they're so full of life, they're so full of energy, so full of hope and ambition, and they don't have schools to go to. And they're just, what are we doing to them? Listen to some of these young children and just reflect on what are we doing to their lives. आप कौन सी क्लास में हैं? 6 में। और आप? 6 दोनों। और कमी टीचर मतलब क्या हो गया?
मतलब कि अभी टीचर चले गए हैं ना हमारे।
टीचर चले गए? ओहो।
अभी थोड़े से ही टीचर बचे हैं, लेकिन फिर भी सर हमारी पढ़ाई की इतनी कोशिश कर रहे हैं कि हम बोर्ड परीक्षा तक हमारी पढ़ाई पूरी हो सके।
ट्रेनिंग में जाते हैं, ये ऐसे खोल देते हैं, वैसे खोल देते हैं। और यहाँ सर हमारा स्कूल है, आपके लिए बताता हूँ, हमारे स्कूल में पूरे टीचर था, पूरे टीचरों का टर्न पॉइंट करिए, हमारे स्कूल पूरा खाली पड़ा हुआ है। हाँ, क्यों? प्रिंसिपल था, प्रिंसिपल चेंज हो गए, 2 बार प्रिंसिपल है, 2 बार पहली बार सर हमारा प्रिंसिपल भी नहीं है अभी की, टीचर की भी कमी है सर। यहाँ पे हमारे स्कूल में पहले 15 का स्टाफ था, पहले अच्छी पढ़ाई चलती थी, 100 में सर 100 पूरा स्कूल में भी पास हुआ पिछली बार। अब की सर कोई वो नहीं है उसमें, पूरे बच्चे पास हो सकते, कोई टीचर नहीं होंगे,
टीचर की नौकरियां नहीं निकलती,
वैकेंसी निकलती है, वैकेंसी निकलती सर हमारे तरफ कोई लेता भी नहीं है,
लेता नहीं है।
हाँ हमारे तरफ सर इतने टीचर बहुत कम है हमारे ये, इसमें से मुड़ियर गांव में से 2-4 सर सर्विस में, बस सरकारी सर्विस में
एक भी टीचर नहीं है हमारे विद्यालय,
टीचर नहीं है, ये तो गलत।
यही सबसे वो है।
11th और 12th वाले की बिल्कुल भी पढ़ाई नहीं हो पाती क्योंकि टीचर भी नहीं है।
मैथ, साइंस के और इंग्लिश के नहीं है, तीनों विषय।
टीचर मैथ्स का नहीं है,
नहीं है, साइंस का भी नहीं है,
इंग्लिश का भी नहीं है,
साइंस इंग्लिश ये तीनों विषयों का नहीं है। यहाँ तो 12वीं तक स्कूल है लेकिन टीचर एक भी नहीं है, 12वीं क्लास तक है।
12वीं स्कूल है, 12वीं तक, लेकिन 12वीं तक स्कूल है लेकिन टीचर नहीं है।
टीचर चले गए, पहले इस साल चले गए टीचर, पूरे टीचर चले गए, उनके ट्रांसफर हो गए।
हाँ जी,
इस साल ट्रांसफर होगा सारे टीचरों का, प्रिंसिपल सर भी नहीं है।
That really is the tragedy of what we are doing to young children, particularly young girls. In Rajasthan, it was highlighted because I have faced this before in other states, but it's just young women here seem so much more ambitious, full of hope, and they've got nothing going for them. We just provide, state provides nothing.
Well, you know, that's why the whole focus is on education, because if you educate girls, I mean there's free education for them, if you educate girls and if they stay in school, they don't get married, because you know early marriages are still a problem in Rajasthan. So that's why the girls are desperate to stay in school, because it keeps them out of the drudgery of working in the fields, household tasks and early marriages.
You know, one of the things, Shekhar, and in one of the villages I went to, they said, you know, complaining, we don't get electricity, we don't get water, I have to walk a long way to get water. I said, who gets the water, you or the man in the house? He said, we get it. I said, why doesn't he get it? He always says, I'm too tired. So women just do everything.
Well,
the man can't even walk, and they were all sitting around, hanging around, doing nothing. They can't walk to a well and get water. You wish you lived here.
That's what patriarchy is all about. But you know, Prannoy, what is very disappointing is that Rajasthan really isn't such a poor state. It should not be such a poor state.
Yes, yes.
Because oil is being struck here.
Yes.
Now, royalties on oil for the states are very high. So this state gets a bonanza that wasn't there 10 years back. So this money can be used better. This is just a pure governance failure, because this state has industry.
And you must say it's on both parties. It's a
both parties.
Systemic failure.
It just has very bad governance, which is very tragic. But at the same time, look at the larger lessons from these travels, and I think these are very pleasant and very positive. One, across the board, more people are voting.
Right.
More people are voting for their state assembly, which means democracy has gone deeper.
Right.
More people are willing to say who they are voting for.
Right. Open.
And more women are voting. Yeah. So look at these four and then forget who's going to win. Then you think that India's democracy is in a very good place right now.
Right. So Dorab, having heard Shekhar, do you have faith in the Indian voter, or do you have faith in the Indian politician?
You know, I think the Indian politician now will have to go the way politicians in other states are going. We asked a politician in Telangana off the record, what about the mandir masjid issue? He said there are enough mandirs in this country, enough masjids, we need schools and hospitals. Don't forget one thing, that if you educate more women, you increase the labor force. Women's participation in labor force also means greater GDP.
Right.
So I think those politicians who see the writing of the wall will somehow find the money. In Rajasthan, they have the money to do the right thing.
Yes, in fact, many economic studies have shown greater women's participation increases the growth rate, the GDP, more than any other factor. Educate the women, get them in the workforce, and your country will grow. But thanks very much. Thank you all for watching.
And keep population growth lower.
Lower as well. Thanks very much for watching. Now, the final results coming up soon, where we'll be proven completely right. See you then. Bye-bye.